Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually going to be one of my last rolls at the Logic Gym since we moved back to the Midwest. And I'm going with Black Belt Mike, who I've featured on the channel many times. So right here, I try to go for a low single. He's going to try to turn that into an Uchimata. I'm going to be able to step away. I grab the belt with my left hand, and now I'm sitting into a half guard, into a deep half guard position. And I've been working this back take from the deep half where I extend the person's deep half leg out in front of me, and I try to come up for the back take. Mike is able to kind of stop me from getting the back take, but I'm able to get the sweep instead. Now that I have the sweep, I'm going to keep my weight in my hands so I can freely leg pommel and stop any leg submissions. Mike is going to go for an inverted roll, but I'm controlling that outside leg, slowing down his inverted roll and being able to set up a guard passing situation for myself. I'm going to post on my left hand to kind of control him, and he's going to sit back into an open guard position, and I'm going to start stuffing the leg and going for my tried and true passing. So now that there's a lull in the action, I'm going to talk a little bit about what my goal is for this roll. Now, Mike knows my game very well. I featured him on the channel many times. He knows my game and I know his game, and it's going to be very hard to try something new against him. So my goal is to just be relentless. I'm going to treat this like it's a finals match at IBJJF Worlds. I'm going to make sure that I don't try to concede any points. I'm going to make sure when we're back on the feet, I'm going to go straight for takedowns, and I'm just going to try to berate him with takedowns and just be as aggressive as possible, and hopefully that will get me the win for the roll. So getting back to the action, Mike is playing a lasso position on his left side with a spider position on his right side. So I'm going to start circling in my left arm to control his spider grip. I'm going to stand up and stuff his right leg in between my legs, pin it, get back to my knees, and start my passing. Now, he still has the lasso on my right arm, so I need to be very careful because Mike is going to start getting up on his shoulder, and I think he's going to go for an inverted position here, try to hit maybe an inverted triangle or get back to the close guard. So I'm controlling his arm and making sure that his inversion is slow so I don't get caught in the triangle. That was very risky right there, very close. He almost caught me, and I was able to kind of posture up and stop him from getting the triangle position. So Mike is going to pull my collar and settle into a close guard position. I'm going to recognize that I want to get out of here as fast as possible, so I'm going to put both my hands in his lapels by his chest, and I'm going to stand up. But when I stand up, I'm going to angle my right leg in so he has a harder time of hitting any type of sweeps. You can't really see it from this angle, but my knee is facing towards him, inwards towards his chest. He's going to try to grab my pant leg. I'm going to step my leg back, but my right arm is now trapped, and he's going to recognize that and use the omoplata sweep to come up. But since my hand is still trapped under his leg, I'm going to try to turn this into a single leg and wrestle up into him. I switch my hips, flatten myself out, and come up to my knees. Mike is going to recognize that, step his leg over, and force me back into a half guard position. So that whole sequence there was very well read by Mike. Like I said, you make a small mistake with Mike, you're going to pay for it. So now that I'm in this half guard position here with the power of editing magic, he's going to try to grab my foot, and I'm going to take my right hand, which is grabbing his left foot, and I'm going to try to get him back into a close guard position. But I need to be very careful when I explode here because I don't want him to backstep out and turn this into side control. So I'm able to get into the close guard position here and recover some semblance of a guard. Like I said earlier, Mike knows that close guard is my jam, so he's immediately going to start standing and using both of his knees as a wedge in my tailbone to kind of have me open the guard. I'm going to bend my spine to stay with the close guard, but he's going to be able to start pushing on my belt and eventually opening up the guard before I'm able to get into anything. I try to stand, and he's going to take the single leg, and like I said, I'm immediately going to be standing back up. Anytime he takes me down, I'm standing right back up. I don't want to give him the momentum in this roll. I'm able to get back to my feet. So now that I'm back on the feet, I'm going to make sure I grab my grips and go for a collar drag to single leg. Mike is going to grab my belt, and we're going to fall at the exact same time. You're going to see Mike start laughing here because we both fell at the exact same time. But I came up first just because I wanted to be as quick as possible. I remember doing this exact same thing with Ray, if you remember that video, where I didn't come up on top fast enough, and Ray was able to capitalize even though I got a good position there. So I wanted to make sure that I capitalize on the position by coming up. Now that I'm in this half guard position, forcing him to play a half guard, I'm going to stuff his leg in between my legs and start playing my position here. Now that I'm in this knee passing position, I'm going to take a break, which is not something you want to do against Mike. So he's going to notice that I'm not really advancing the position. I'm just grabbing the grips and taking a breather. And while I'm doing that, he's going to get a cross collar grip and start angling me to my left side. You can see how far I'm leaning to the left. While he's doing that, he's going to take his left leg and put it in between my arm and my shoulders. And now that he has his right hand grip on my pant leg, he's going to hit a beautiful half guard sweep here and put me straight on my back. So that was me just taking a break at a wrong long time, and Mike was able to capitalize on that. Now that I'm on my back, I know I don't want to stay here. I don't want to give him the opportunity to start passing my guard. So as soon as I'm able to get into a technical stand-up position, I'm going to bring the fight right back to the feet, which is where I want to be. And now that we're both on the feet, I'm going to start dictating the tempo here. I don't want to be lackadaisical. I don't want to wait. So I'm going to start breaking the grips. And once I get my grip that I want, I'm going to go with my collar drag. Mike is going to post, and I'm going to come back up with the single leg, and I'm going to trip the back leg out and get the single leg takedown there. And now that I'm in this position that we were just in, I'm going to make sure that I stay in a combat stance so I can be a little bit more fluid with my movement. Both my knees aren't on the ground, and I can start pinning his leg and stopping him from hitting that same half guard sweep that he hit me with earlier. Now I'm going to start standing and getting into a tripod position, making sure that I'm going to start locking up his legs. Mike is going to start angling his body towards me when I try to get back towards my knees, and I'm going to just disengage from the entire situation. And when I try to re-engage, I'm actually going to hit him with an eye poke, which, if you remember from my last roll with him, so Mike pretty much knew he wasn't going to win this as the last video as a purple belt, so he decided to play dirty and hit the eye poke right here and take out my vision so he could get a better chance of winning this roll. So of course I apologized to Mike and tell him that it was an accident, but between me and you, it wasn't no accident. I was still remembering when he got me as a purple belt, so I thought I'd return the favor a few months later with our last roll here. So Mike is going to start playing a butterfly-ish position. I'm just going to keep him at bay as long as possible. He's going to start getting his feet into my hips and kind of pull me into a open guard position and then let go because the timer had just ran out. And Mike didn't slap bump me there because he still couldn't see, but that was all part of my strategy. So let's get right into the takeaway. The major takeaway here is that sometimes you really just have to push yourself. You really have to go for it, and you really have to treat a roll like you would a competition. As you can see, Mike has taken me down multiple times, but I'm not conceding that takedown because I know, especially going with somebody as skilled as Mike, if I concede this takedown, he's going to be able to capitalize on it and dominate the rest of the roll. So sometimes you really have to treat it like a competition, and you really just have to push yourself and dig deep and power through it. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for supporting the channel. It truly means more than you know. We have a few more videos left featuring the Logic team members before we transition to the Watson's martial arts team. Yes, I have moved back to the St. Louis area, and I'm training back at my old gym where everything started, and I have quite a few people I want to bring to the channel to show you guys how tough the Midwest is. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.